Keeping viewers hooked is all about storytelling, no matter what kind of content you create. So in this video, we'll explore how strong storytelling and strategic structuring can improve view retention. That was hard to say. While also noting how to adapt these tactics to different genres too. So whether you're an aspiring YouTuber, a content creator, or a filmmaker, these principles will help you craft those videos that keep people watching till the very end. First impressions on YouTube are absolutely everything. So before viewers even hear your story, they see your thumbnail and they see your title, what is called the packaging of your video. A compelling thumbnail and title combo is often the difference between a viewer clicking or a viewer scrolling past. Now, the top creators stress that thumbnails deserve as much thought as the video itself. And most strategists will argue that if you can't come up with your thumbnail and title before even making your video, don't even bother making your video. And now most of the top YouTubers will A/B test their thumbnails to find what grabs their audience and what highlights how critical that first impression is. Think of your thumbnail as your video's storefront, enticing viewers with a promise of the story inside. And once they click, the opening seconds of your video decide everything. Over 1/3 of your viewers drop off within the first 30 seconds if the intro isn't engaging. So that means you must hook your audience immediately. So no lengthy logos or "hey guys, welcome back" sort of intros. Instead, you want to start with a bang, perhaps a bold statement, a surprising visual, or a provocative question that introduces the video's theme. You should aim to deliver on the promise that your title and your thumbnail made within the first 15 seconds, just like I did in this video. So if your title teases a big reveal or a challenge, show a glimpse of it right away. We all know Mr. Beast is known for his high sky retention rates, and he follows this rule religiously. He reveals that the first minute is where the retention is won or lost, and he front loads his videos with the most exciting info, visuals, and the context to immediately match viewer expectations and convince them to keep watching. Now, I know not every video is able to do this, so if you can't, at least try to communicate that your thumbnail and title's expectations are revealed at some point in the video. One effective hook is to use what I call pre-framing, and that's just to say what's coming. For instance, you might say, there are 2 things that I love about this product and 1 thing that I absolutely hate, and today we'll find out why. And in that one sentence, you've just created and sparked curiosity. What's the thing that you hate? And you've given that reason to stay tuned for the payoff. Even in a product review, this kind of mini story that starts introducing a thread that viewers will want to follow to the end. And here's an absolutely fantastic stat for you. Videos that retain 70% of viewers in the first 30 seconds have a far higher chance of success on YouTube. So those initial moments must captivate. So if you followed that step, you've now hooked the viewer early. So now how do you keep them watching? The key is in how you structure the story that you're telling. The creators of South Park famously taught that a bad story is just a sequence of events. This happened, then this happened, then this happened. That gets very boring fast. A good story, by contrast, has cause and effect momentum. This happened, but then this happened. Therefore, this happened. In other words, each beat introduces conflict or change that leads to the next, keeping the audience engaged through tension and payoff. So, even if you're not making Hollywood films, this principle applies to YouTube videos. It applies to talking heads, to vlogs, to product reviews, to tech reviews. It applies to every YouTube video. Think of the terms of narrative beats with twists or surprises. For a tech review, it might go something like, "This smartphone line has always been great, but the newest model changes one big thing. Therefore, my recommendation isn't what you'd expect." Suddenly, that straightforward review becomes a story with stakes. There's a history, a twist, and a consequence. So those viewers now have a reason to care and to continue until the end. They need to hear what the therefore is. And no matter the genre, tech, beauty, vlogging, education, you need to try to avoid a flat outline of points. I.e., first I'll talk about X, then Y, then Z. Instead, try to build that narrative thread. And if you find yourself listing events or facts with a "and then," consider where you can insert a "but" or a "because" or a "therefore," which follows that story flow. So please remember, people don't just watch videos, they watch stories. When your content feels like a journey or an unfolding drama, it's inherently more absorbing than a loose collection of facts. core part of storytelling is tension, raising questions or stakes that compel the audience to stick around for answers. And the best creators are adept at opening curiosity gaps, also known as open loops, and then satisfying them later. For example, tease an interesting point early on. Something like, by the way, there's a surprising downside to this camera that almost made me return it, and I'll get to that later in the video. Now these viewers are hooked, wondering what the downside is, and they'll want to keep watching for that payoff. Another really simple example that you can use is, later in this video, I'll reveal X. And that just helps to hook and keep your people engaged. Just be sure to deliver on these promises, resolve the tension, or viewers will feel cheated and leave and won't subscribe. All good storytelling is essentially a cycle of tension and release. You build curiosity or suspense, then provide an answer or an outcome, and then often introduce a new intrigue to carry that momentum on. This can be as simple as posing a question like, so, does this budget gadget actually outperform the expensive one? And later answering that, or at least setting up a challenge. He's attempting the impossible. Will he succeed? And then, of course, showing the result. Each unanswered question or uncertainty acts like a magnet for that viewer attention and retention. As soon as one question is answered, consider introducing another, or at least escalating the stakes to prevent the audience from clicking away. Another strategy borrowed from fiction is to think of your video like a hero's journey. Are you the hero in your journey, or is it someone that you're speaking about? Even if it's your subject as the hero, introduce a challenge or a conflict early on. Show that struggle or exploration and then conclude it with a resolution. This is a classic setup. It's character, conflict, and resolution. And it kind of taps into how we as humans consume stories. For instance, if you're a travel vlogger, frame your vlog as, I set out to do X, but I hit these obstacles, so here is how it turned out. If you're a tutorial creator, present a problem first. I had a huge issue with my code, but then I tried this easy solution. Causation and conflict keep viewers emotionally invested. As Colin and Samir, the great YouTube heroes, noted in a conversation with MKBHD, another hero, even a tech video can employ these tactics, history and expectations, but something is different. Therefore, think differently about it. Crucially, don't resolve all your tension too early. If you answer every question in the first minute, viewers have no reason to stay. Instead, pace out your revelations. Mr. Beast's team, for example, strategically places re-engagement moments around the 3.5-minute way point, doing something surprising or teasing the next phase of the story, specifically to recapture viewer attention before it wanes. While you don't need to follow this strict formula and every video won't be the same, the idea is to never let the energy flatline. Whenever your video hits that natural lull, inject a new hook, a twist, or a new piece of info, a change in the format, or an emotional beat, something that raises the what happens next again in the viewer's mind, just like I kind of did with my tone. Now, one size doesn't fit all, so you have to adapt your storytelling to your content. It's important to note that while storytelling principles are universal, how you apply them can differ by genre and audience and even the creator. Advice from these huge creators like Mr. Beast, who offer their videos to 100 different million people, they won't always translate perfectly for your niche or niche creators. The core idea can be tailored. For example, a common tip is to just introduce a storyline in the first 10 seconds. That might be a fantastic idea for an entertainment video, but if you run a serious tech review channel, a random dramatic story at the very start could confuse your viewers who just want to know about the product. In niches where the audience expects you to sort of get to the point, tech reviews, how-tos, you might need to hook them in a more straightforward way. Storytelling in that context might take a different form, framing why the topic matters or promising insights. Something along the lines of, is this new device really worth the hype? Let's find out today. Rather than a narrative or a skit or a challenge that won't tailor to your niche. In the tech world, concise and informative intros are crucial. So your story might be a little bit more subtle, but the fact that you can have conflict and an emotional journey in your personal journey testing it. In a beauty tutorial, the story could be a transformation. Watch me go from this to this. but with a twist at the end. In a history or education video, it could be a mystery or a question that you need solving as the video progresses. So all genres can harness narrative elements, but the tone and the timing may vary. Storytelling is just fundamental for engaging this content, but the implementation varies across genres. Also, you want to consider your target audience. If you're building a niche community, you might not need over-the-top cliffhangers or quick editing every 30 seconds. Your viewers might stick around for a deeper, more nuanced story because they're passionate about the topic. In fact, sometimes letting a moment breathe and allowing an interviewee to speak at length or showing a quiet montage can actually be more engaging for a niche audience that values that authenticity or detail. Again, Colin and Sabir mentioned that for their creator focus channel, they intentionally don't trim everything down to a Mr. Beast style hyper edit because their niche viewers enjoy the depth and the context of that slow paced video. Authenticity and resonance can trump flashy tactics and flashy editing when your audience is just more targeted. But if you're aiming for a broad appeal, you'll want to lean heavier on classic storytelling, quick cuts, high stakes, universal themes to capture a wider range of people. As for my niche, I'm all about storytelling and filmmaking on YouTube. So if you are learning more about this and you're wanting to grow on YouTube, I have a newsletter that shares all this information, and it's a weekly newsletter. So click the link in the description to sign up. We talk about storytelling, good thumbnails, inspiring creators. And like I said, it's weekly. So you get an update each week on it. So please click the link in the description and follow my storytelling newsletter. I'd love that. In the battle for viewer attention, storytelling is the ultimate weapon. It goes beyond any algorithm hack and it taps into human psychology. We're wired to seek out stories, to crave answers to questions, and to find out what happens next. By hooking these viewers early, structuring your content with narrative flow, and maintaining tension and curiosity, you give your audience reasons to keep watching. As Mr. Beast himself emphasizes, learning storytelling and tension building techniques is crucial to master the art of hooking viewers until the very end. So when you get this right, your audience retention will soar. And with it, YouTube's algorithm is more likely to push your video to new viewers. If you do anything today, remember that storytelling on YouTube is a flexible art. Tailor it to your style and your audience. If something feels off for your niche, adjust the approach. Don't always lean into those mega creators. You will always need that engaging angle and a logical progression that rewards viewers for their time, whether you're vlogging, tutorials, viewers, reviews, or even short films. Approach each video like a story that you're telling the viewer, trying to hook them, take them on a journey, surprise them, and even satisfy them by the end. And I promise you, you won't just get views, you'll earn a community and an audience that wants to watch longer, that comes back for more and actually connects with your content. And keep in mind that retention is an ongoing experiment. I do it every single day. I experiment with refining my storytelling craft. People don't just watch videos, they watch stories. So make your story a great one, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!